I want to welcome everybody to the February Eye on Piscataway, and we're very fortunate enough to have our Middlesex County Sheriff Millie Scott here with us, who just happens to be a Piscataway resident also. And along with her, she brought along two sheriff's officers, and Sheriff Scott wants to speak a little bit about some of the initiatives that are coming out of the Sheriff's Department for the upcoming year. So Sheriff Scott, without further ado, we're going to turn the mic over to you, so to speak, to talk about some of the initiatives. And no, I don't. I want to just let the record reflect on the background. No, I don't have any grandchildren right now. So, but I just wanted to share. Although Sheriff Scott has plenty of grandchildren and great-grandchild. So
Exactly.
Take it away, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the invite for our Middlesex County Sheriff's Office today. The initiative we're going to talk about is car seats for infants. Right now, I have two of my officers here with me today, and they are the experts in car seats and how to install car seats. The Middlesex County Sheriff's Office has 3 certified officers. Right now we had 7, we're down to 5. One has since retired. And the safety technicians are trained to check the installation and safety standards of each car seat. Parents and caregivers, and I say caregivers because grandparents, aunts and uncles sometimes take care of the children. They're going to have hands-on training on how to properly install their car seats. The training will include, but not limited to, making sure the car seat is appropriate for their child's age, weight, and height. And making sure there are no recalls on it, because the officers would know that. Yeah. Harness, seat belts, and check and safety considerations are installed. And you ask, why is car seats so important? You know, according to National Traffic Safety, car seats and booster seats provide protection for infants and children in a crash. Yet, car crashes are a leading cause of death for children from 1 to 13. Because improperly, the car seats are not installed or kids are not in seat belts. Now, you're going to ask me why we decide to do this initiative. You know, Middlesex County Sheriff's Office wants to support the community, and we find that this is to be very important to our constituents. Plus, we want to make sure our youth are safety. And today, I have 2 of my technicians here that are trained, highly trained. They're educated in it. And so I'm going to turn it over to them to talk about what car seats and how safety is and how they're installed.
Okay. Go ahead, Officer McCray.
So when it comes to installing a car seat safely, when they first come in, we normally ask that they install it themselves so we can see exactly what kind of experience they've had or what type of trouble that they've had. Normally what we see is it might be a little shaky. We point that out. We have a spreadsheet that we go through the information where the seat was installed, things of that nature. As the sheriff was saying, what we do is we go through an app where we can see whether there was a recall. Once we make sure that the seat is safe, we ask a couple questions about it. Where did you get the car seat? Because sometimes people might get it from, let's say, a yard sale. Okay. And we don't know the history of that seat. Maybe it's been in an accident, and if it's been in an accident, then we can no longer use that.
So let me get this straight. So hypothetically, if somebody's been involved in a motor vehicle accident with a child in the back in the seat, so the force of the jolt possibly triggers where you should have a new one?
Yes, sir, the harness.
The harness itself.
So the harness, it can only be used for a certain amount of time because the car seats expire, which is something a lot of people don't.
Now, see, that's interesting because because having my kids are obviously a lot older now, adults. What's typically the life expectancy of a car seat, under normal use circumstances?
That's a very good question.
You have some families, they may have 2 or 3 kids, and that car seat gets passed down, right, Sheriff?
Yes.
It gets passed down because it's only by habit of the parents and the grandparents.
So a lot of the expiration dates that are on there, sometimes it goes by the make of it, but we normally go from the day that it was manufactured. I would say, what would you say it's about?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
For it to actually be expired, where we have to get new ones.
So in other words, the 2 car seats I have up in my attic, I better get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Yes. All right. I know you want to pass them down.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess you just killed that idea.
I apologize for that. So once we make sure the expiration date is good, the history of the car seat, if it's been in an accident or if it's expired, through our grant, we actually have car seats that you guys have seen here that we can use to replace, because we don't want any child to go out without a car seat. You know, if you came in, the car seat's bad, we would replace it, and we want you to go out safely. So we do the little checks, see how they installed it. We tell the parents or whoever the person is that comes in with the seat what we saw wrong with it. And after that, we kind of go down a list. If they don't have their child, how tall is your child, the weight of your child, to make sure that the seat is proper for your child.
So it's the proper specifications.
Yes, proper specifications. Yes. Because before we took this class, I was guilty of it myself, not knowing the specifications of the weight and the height and where the harness is supposed to go and the tightness of the harness. This is a lot of information that we were giving over in the class. So these are a lot of things that we look out for. But in order for us to make sure that they're in the proper seat, if they don't bring their child, we have to know these type of specifications to make sure that they're in the right seat.
When you talk about class, can you tell us about the training that you have?
Sure.
To go through?
Yeah, so the class, it's a week-long class that we have to go to, and it's a different sets of tests that we have to do. So within that week-long, we do quizzes, we have hands-on, and then we do a final assessment at a car seat inspection center. And then our certification is good for 2 years. After those 2 years, and we have to research to keep up with installing the car seats. And that research includes making sure that we know how to install all the car seats properly. A senior checker or an instructor will then verify that we are able to install those car seats correctly. We have to do 6 CEUs for that research. And then we also have to do community engagement events.
So you must know all the different brands and manufacturers out there.
There's so many.
So you're sort of like the Consumer Reports of the Sheriff's Department, right?
For safety, yeah.
For safety, no.
Right.
Think about that. You know, that's what Consumer Reports do. They run safety things. So you're sort of like ahead of the curve here.
I would say we've seen a lot of different type of car seats. Yeah. You have like your Corvette of the car seats that we see, your Porsche, like all different types. But what matters is that your child comes in safely and leaves safely. Yeah. That's what matters to us, and that there's no recall on that seat.
How often, since you're in the field and have been certified, how often are there recalls of car seats?
How often?
They would have to obviously do a recall because that's considered safety, like with the automotive industry, with the NTSB. You know, if it has to do with life and safety, it's an automatic national recall.
Yes.
You know, if it's maybe the fabric gone bad, I don't think they'll recall that. I think they're more or less the structural integrity of when a child's in the actual seat itself.
I would have to say from the whole time that I've been doing car seats, I've probably seen 1 or 2 recalls.
Okay.
It's not like an everyday occurrence that when they come in, we see a recall. It's very few that we actually come across.
So what is the reaction like if you're trying to explain to a young parent or even a grandparent or whomever when they find out, oh, maybe I was installing this incorrectly the whole time?
They are actually very grateful whenever they come for the educational experience. We will say that most of the parents or caretakers, they try and install the seat prior to the arrival of the inspection. And then once they arrive, most of the things that we typically see is they use a seatbelt and the latch at the same time, thinking that is going to give it extra support. Per the manual and protocols, we only need to use one of them. So they're just very grateful on learning and then making sure that the child or grandchild is safe.
So let me ask you and Chris, have you ever gotten a call where somebody just had a baby and I don't have a car seat?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happens then?
So thankfully, through the grant, They gave us some money to buy additional car seats so that we are able to provide the parent and caretaker with that car seat. We've also had instances where on arrival, the child was not in a car seat or in an inappropriate car seat. So they were forward facing when they should be rear facing. So we were able to provide them with those car seats as well.
Yeah, that's what most parents, if you forget, you're supposed to be rear facing.
Yes.
The whole idea is you don't want to protect if there's ever glass, even though
Exactly.
shatterproof glass, but there always, in theory, is always going to be some glass depending upon how severe the impact.
So with rear facing, I think a lot has to do with their internal organs.
Yeah.
So if you're moving forward, you have the seat that can kind of crush those organs. Rather with rear facing, I don't want to make it sound bad.
Yeah.
I would rather my kid kind of break their legs than
Yeah.
damage their internal organs. So we try to say keep your child rear facing as long as
So
possible.
you just brought up a very good point because of the safety in not of cars when they have the side airbag curtains now and some rear things. How does that work now with a lot of the other safety measures that are going in cars now? When you have inflatable air curtains that come down, how does that impact the car seat with the child in it?
So with the car seat, what it's supposed to do, it's kind of like it makes like an eggshell. So that's something that we try to let the parents or the grandparents, whoever comes in for the install, we try to let them know that you have to keep a space in between the car seat and the chair, because if it's stuck together, then it's not going to allow the car seat to do what it does. Right. So normally when there's an accident, what happens is the car seat will move up and it will kind of shield that kid. So that's what the car seat is built to do. It'll kind of be like that little bit of a shield.
So in other words, if you're out shopping, Sheriff, you can't be stuffing all the things that you stop and then the kid in a car
And you
seat.
can't do that. But it's not also rear facing all the time. It's
Yeah.
a certain age. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
so-
Yes.
Yeah.
So up to a certain age, you can have your kid forward facing, most definitely. But what we were taught was best practice is rear facing as long as possible. But of course, every grandparent and parent,
Yeah.
they want to be able to see their kid and things of that nature. So not saying that it's bad if you face it forward. It's not. But best practice, according to our training, is rear facing, probably up to about the age of 2 or something around that age.
Okay.
But I know me personally with my kids, I wanted to see them, so I faced them forward after a certain age. But there's really no wrong way. We can just tell you how we were trained, because this is pretty much a no judgment zone when you come in. We're just trying to give you as much information as possible and make sure that you're well trained with the car seat and proficient with it. So when you leave, you feel confident. So we don't judge where you want to put the seat or how you want to put the seat. Our job is just to make sure that it's put in to the best of our ability, and you know how to do it when you leave that parking lot or wherever we're doing our.
I think safety for children have come a long way, because I remember as a kid growing up, and I was one of 6, and the sheriff can attest to this too. Seatbelts didn't come in until the early 70s. And I remember as a kid, my parents just throwing us in the back of the big old Ford station wagon, and it was like mayhem in the back.
It was. I can remember just holding my child in a carrier and driving and putting my hand on the child so that we can move around. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's amazing how you now have classes for officers that can take for child safety within motor vehicles, where you look at the infancy of the automobile industry, especially the heydays in the 60s. It's, it was like, hey, just get in the car, don't worry about anything.
We, we encourage parents and caregivers and grandparents to make sure they are in the car seat.
Yeah.
To make sure they are and they're strapped in properly. And that's the reason we've done this.
Yes.
But, some parents or caregivers are in such a rush, and they don't make sure they're adjusted properly or fastened in, and that could be a problem. That could be a problem. So as much as we instill in them how important it is, sometimes parents or caregivers say they're rushing, and there's nothing
They
you
want
can
to take a
say
shortcut.
about rushing. Yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. You
Well,
just can't do
and there's no such thing as a shortcut, as we all
No.
know, when it comes to safety, because this is built for a reason.
Right.
to protect.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to install it and put it in to protect, then it defeats the purpose of the child being in it.
Let me ask you, have you had parents come back once, twice to adjust the car seats?
We have.
Yes.
So if they come originally in an infant carrier, and they'll have the weight of the child on the side there for when they outgrow it. So then they'll come back and then have us either install a convertible for them. If they're in a convertible and still rear facing, they'll come back for when they're forward facing all the way up to a booster.
So you're saying somebody puts like a little tag on it, just saying what the weight should be
So
as a reminder?
So all the car seats come with those tags on it already. So there's
Well,
labels on the
I
side.
can tell you that wasn't the case with my kids in the car seats. That was never in the case.
There's labels on the side for the weight on there. There's also some indicators just to make sure that it's leveled. When they're rear facing, where to put the seatbelt through. When there's forward facing, where to put the seatbelt through. So they try and make it as user friendly as they can. It comes with instructor manuals as well too. And then we are there to make sure that it is installed properly.
So, Mayor, you may have a car seat, and you're saying...
I'm throwing them out now.
Yeah.
They're no good. They're old.
You may have a car seat.
I was just told by the text here. I got to throw them
You
out.
may be purchasing a car seat for your child-to-be or somebody-to-be, and you think you've done it properly. Now you have a question about it. I'm not so sure I put it in. So they would call the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office and say, I have a car seat. I'm not sure I have it put in properly. And they would call us, and we would tell them, come on in, come on in. So it's easy to say that I'm not sure what I know, I can do, what I can't do. But if you contact the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office and you tell them that I have a car seat and I have a new child and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, just give us a call. Just give us a call.
You know what, Sheriff? I think one of the things that, I always joke about St. Peter's Hospital being the baby factory over there, but maybe it might not hurt that, like, just with the stations over there, just give them a pamphlet, just say for new. I don't know if you already do that. Right
Yes.
So they
Yes.
are actually referred over to our headquarters.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So you're ahead of the curve where I was
Yes.
going. with
Yes,
this.
sir.
Yes.
And Sheriff Scott gave us a great opportunity to have this grant for the community so that the parents can come over to our headquarters Monday through Friday from the hours that we are there, between 8 and 2, and then also give us the opportunity to go to different locations throughout the county, just in case they can't make it to New Brunswick, and then we're able to provide that service for them as well.
Yeah, I think it would be hilarious to just park the cars up, have them there right when they're wheeling the new mothers and fathers out the door at the hospital with the child.
Well, you'd be surprised. They know if they're having a baby, they'll give us a call.
Yeah, okay.
I'm picking my baby at such and such a time. Can you put a car seat in?
I mean, I know I'm kidding around about it, but
it
it is
happens.
something serious.
It happens.
But,
It happens.
We've had dads come in and say, I have to go pick up my wife and my kid right now in the hospital, and they don't have the car seat in. So,
Really?
yeah.
So, all right. So, this obviously is for youngster. Probably at the age 40, 30 pounds, 20 pounds.
So that goes, that's a convertible, so that could go rear facing.
Okay.
And then that's why it's leaned back a little bit, just to get that angle. And then we could turn it to go forward facing as
Okay,
well
gotcha.
until they grow out of it and to go into a booster seat. That one to the left of you, that's just an infant carrier. So that is rear facing only.
So they can pick up.
Okay, yeah. And then they still have the hooks that you disconnect and. Okay, that's what I always remember, disconnect.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not even sure I never left my kids on the roof when I was taking the groceries out.
right.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thing you want to get out about safety for the car carrying seats? What cars are the hardest to put a car seat in? Come on, you guys have probably put it in. We're not going to badmouth the cars, but I'm just out of curiosity.
The hardest car that
Yeah.
we've ever had to, I would probably say some pickup trucks
Okay.
are pretty difficult, mainly because of the anchor placement, which is something that we try to let them know about also. Sometimes it doesn't have the anchors in the right place.
Okay.
So the anchors could only stretch out to a certain point, and once it's past a certain point, then it's no longer effective properly. So I've seen some pickup trucks, and the anchors are out of place. But those are a little bit of like the older type of pickup trucks. I would say that, for me, that's the hardest.
Well, I think we need to talk to Ford and Dodge about that. Right there.
So let me ask you a question. Have you had where you had 3 car seats in a vehicle? Will you install 3?
That's a very
Most
good
definitely,
question.
Sheriff.
Yes.
Most definitely. I believe you were with me on that one. And it's funny because it was a school that we do dare at.
Okay.
And I went to go teach there, and I saw the same little kids I installed the seats for running around. So there was a family that came in. I believe it was like a family of 5.
5.
Family of 5, and there were no seats in this car at all. And recently, the car that they had before was in an accident, and there were no seats in that car that they had an accident in. But fortunately, the kids weren't in there. So when they came in, we were able to install 5 seats. I think it was there were 3 girls that were ready for boosters, and 2 that did convertibles. So it was like playing Tetris, trying
So
to.
it's almost like you had three in the middle and then 2 in the
back.
back.
It was a
Not-
three-row,
not in the
three-row
trunk, you know,
vehicle.
just-
Yeah.
So how did you get these car seats? You didn't have them with you, so what did you do? Call up the office and go get them?
So that at that time, I think we were working with Robert Wood Johnson.
Yes.
Okay.
With Robert Wood Johnson, and they had some extra seats at that time that we were able to install inside that vehicle. But I'm glad
That's a
that
lot
they
of car
came.
seats for
It's a lot of
one
car
car.
seats.
It was,
Yeah,
yes,
it's a lot.
yes.
It's a lot.
So we were like a daycare / car seat
Right.
at the same time.
Right, right.
Bring back the old Ford station wagons from
Right,
the 60s.
remember those? Yeah, big time, big time. So I want to say to everyone out there, if you need a car seat, you know someone's in need of a car seat to have it installed, you can always reach our office. And you can call the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office. We're on the website. Look at our website and check on car seats, and you'll automatically be connected to Brittany or one of the other installers.
And I want to thank you, Sheriff, for stopping by and bringing us some important information. You know what? These are things like people's lives are always busy. You know, you don't, I mean, when you have a young, starting out a family, you don't necessarily know the ins and outs. And we're fortunate enough we have some folks in the Sheriff Department
yes.
actually know
Yeah.
the safety protocols to teach people. And not only that, their extended families. And out there, if there's grant money for them, some people might not be able to afford a car seat, believe it or not. To have that out there, I think it's a great idea. But one thing I did learn, I'm going to go up in the attic this weekend.
Get rid of that 10-year-old
The two car seats that I have been saving, God knows for how long. We're going to toss them. So then I'll tell my wife, oh, I'm just cleaning out the attic. I'm not going to save it through
Right,
now.
right.
So,
One of the other things I do want to say, sometimes you have a babysitter that's
Yeah.
driving. She's
That's a
17
good point,
years,
Sheriff.
17 years old,
Yeah.
and they're trained to be babysitters, but they also should be trained to make sure they're properly installed into the child's into car seats.
Yeah.
It's very important that you do that. Yeah.
that's a very good
Yeah.
point. Especially with the caregivers
Oh,
these
it
days.
is. Yeah,
Everybody
it is.
has a
Yes.
caregiver, an extent, whether it's family members or
Yes.
non-family members. There's
Right.
always a caregiver involved.
And you may have a grandparent that have children, now they're a grandparent, and things have changed, totally have changed. So,
I do
yes.
know that your husband's an expert.
Yes, he's an
like
expert.
the
He's an
Uber,
expert.
Uber driver of the children,
Yes, he is.
grandchildren.
Yes, he is.
So with that, thank you for coming to Ion Piscataway, Sheriff. Thank you all for stopping by on this very important subject out there, and we look forward to seeing you on the road, actually showing some video of showing young families how to install a car seat correctly.
I think we're going to be here in March.
Yes, ma'am.
Piscataway?
Yes.
Well, we'll make sure that Ion Piscataway stops by to do a promo for you there, and because the more information you get out there, the better it is.
It's better.
It's because it's very. You never know if you have an accident.
Right, right.
And it doesn't matter what car, make, or model is. The more safety measures that are in there, the better off you are for both the motorists and the passengers. So,
Mayor Wahler, I want to thank you for having us here this morning. Thank you very much. And thank you for thinking about the safety of our youth, too. Thank you very much.
no, it's great. It means a lot to not only to you,
Yes.
Sheriff, myself, and the governing body also. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we do have some other events that happened in January and February, and that's up next. Hello, Piscataway residents. It's Groundhog Day 2025, and I'm up here on the Green Acres, the bike path, and we're going to go see Piscataway Pete, the groundhog here, in his domicile. And I have my 2 assistants, Duncan and Captain here. Come on, boys. Let's go see the Piscataway Pete. Let's see what he's doing. Come on, Duncan. Come on. Come on, get in there. All right. He's still sleeping there. So let's see what words of advice. Okay, it says a new website is coming soon for February for Piscataway Township. And then we also have another thing. Oh, this is a very bold prediction. It says the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl by 2 touchdowns. Don't tell the bookies in Vegas about that. So with that, I want to thank Duncan and Captain for helping Sissy today for the predictions for Piscataway Peak. And we'll see the residents soon enough in the hopefully warm weather. Well, I want to thank everybody to come out to Satori Academy's ribbon cutting ceremony. Stelton, this section of Stelton Road is becoming a very vibrant community. I remember as a little kid, it was a single lane road here, back old farm country down in this area. But it has come a long way over the last 30 plus years. And Nancy, do you want to say a couple words about your business?
Yeah, this is so exciting for us to have you all here with us today. This is the opening of our 8th Satori, New Jersey, New York location. We are so happy to have you all here, and we hope we have many, many years here training in Piscataway. So thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you for being here.
And then you keep our kids healthy right here.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank 4th Ward Councilwoman Michelle Lombardi for stopping by. This is her ward area. So.
Sneak by here with these large pair of scissors, ready, and on 3, 1, 2, 3.
3. We're here today together with Dr. Roy and Dr. Bhagwandan here to opening up the grand opening of the elite medical professions. Now, Doctor, do you want to say a little bit about your small business that you're opening here?
Yeah, for sure. We're a new primary care and osteopathic medicine facility that we just opened up here. We focus on wellness and holistic medicine.
And that's something that Councilwoman Lombardi likes to hear. And you do primary care
Correct,
also.
yes.
So
yes.
It's not just one trade.
Together, primary care with healthy living.
Okay. Holistic care. Well, it's all part of the mayor's wellness campaign, I believe.
Exactly.
All right, so we're on this. So with that, if you ever need some holistic medicine and primary, you know where to come, right here at 250 Stelton Road. So with that, we're going to have both of you, along with Councilwoman Lombardi, help. I don't want a manicure right here right now. So. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you so much.
very good. We were here at the invitation of Middlesex County Magnet Schools here, and we're at the Piscataway campus of the Raiders. And we took a quick spin around the building of going to all the vocationals that are offered here at the school. And I think we're going to come out eating a lot of calories here between the bakery, going to the wood shop, the welding, the car repair place, and the cosmetology, and all the other venues within inside here, the availability to Middlesex County students and their parents. for more information, contact the Middlesex County Magnet Schools, and they'll get you set up with anybody if you have a student that's maybe interested in attending. I want to thank everybody for coming out here on this very warm day here in Piscataway for the flag raising of the Republic of India. I want to acknowledge some of the officials here. Council President Dennis Espinoza. We have Councilman Frank Earn. Frank's here in the back. Councilwoman Gabrielle Cahill. Councilwoman Michelle Lombardi. Councilwoman Sharon Carmichael. Councilwoman Sarah Rashid. Whom am I missing? Anybody in the back? I think I got everybody. And Reginald Johnson from the NAACP is here. And Yash, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and all the council people for coming out today, as well as all the elected officials. Today we're here to celebrate India's Republic Day, which started in 1950. So this marks the 76th anniversary of Republic Day for us Indians and us Indians abroad. I want to again thank the mayor, and I want to thank you all for joining us on this special occasion so that we can all together collectively watch as India's flag is hoisted at the YMCA in Piscataway today.
Thank you, Yash. And I can guarantee you it's not 20 degrees in India. So let's get the flag up there, and I want the two youngest kids to help. How about we have all the kids come on up and help?
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
भारत माता की जय भारत माता की जय भारत माता की जय
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very briefly, I know everybody's excited to go around to all the tables and learn a wealth of information here this afternoon. I want to welcome to Muslim Heritage Month, sponsored by the Piscataway Library. And I want to turn the mic over to Heidi, who's our library director.
Thank you, Mayor Wahler. We are so proud to once again have a Muslim Heritage Month program here at the Piscataway Public Library. Designated January by Governor Murphy as Muslim Heritage Month, and we are so excited to welcome the community in to learn and enjoy everything together today. This year we have a wonderful group of volunteers who have provided many activities related to the arts, and we're looking forward to sharing that. And thank you, Mayor and council members and community members for joining us today.
Thank you, Heidi. And I would like to acknowledge some of the council members. We have Council President Dennis Espinoza, Councilwoman Sharon Carmichael, Councilman Frank Earn, Councilwoman Sarah Rashid, and I think Councilwoman Michelle Lombardi may be on her way. But more importantly, to all the children out there, please learn something. You're in a building. What building is this?
Library.
Library, right? And what do you do in libraries? You either read or learn something, correct? Okay, that's your job, your mission. So when you go home today, you have to learn at least one thing new coming out. Hopefully more than one, but at least you learn one thing new. That's what my late grandfather always said. You always have to learn at least one thing new every day. So, and I want to thank all the volunteers here today on this very warm January day here in Piscataway. At least it's warm here in the building.
It is.
So with that, I'm going to have everybody start going around and learning a wealth of information.
want to take a moment to also thank MCMC, and we would be remiss if we didn't thank them because they sponsored this program and they also sponsored it last year. So thank you very much for supporting this very important program.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thanks for my virtual. Yes, thank you. Oh, you're welcome.
So Mayor Wahler, I know you've been doing a great deal of work with Mayor Cognetti around metro economies, and wanted to get your thoughts on what lies ahead with that committee's work, and how we as a conference can best support your agenda.
Well, Mayor Ginther, I think it's safe to say that on behalf of Mayor Cognetti and the rest of the Metro Economies Committee, we'll be front and center of your supportive housing initiatives in 2025. But more importantly, we're very fortunate enough to have the legislative director of Representative LaHood out of Illinois, who's been a very big proponent of light tech as low-income housing vouchers. Also, we do have several members of Congress who are actually supportive of this. And there will be a 2025 tax bill. It's just a question of what it's going to look like. We also have to protect the child tax credits right there, which is all, and then the community development block grant, which a lot of cities and towns use for housing. So there's some things that we're going to have to protect, and Mayor Cognetti is going to be very forceful in that.
Yeah.
Thank all the clergy for coming out here today. This is a very important day to talk about. You know, and as Ken alluded to, local officials in our state are in a defensive posture. It hasn't even been 1 week since the new president has been sworn in. And it's no secret, he's doing what he was campaigning on right there. And I guess a lot of people didn't think he was going to follow through. So, I mean, normally you give the benefit of the doubt of the new president. But, you know, I mean, given the fact that he was president prior to that, so you don't get a pass this time around. But, you know, the bottom line is that we have to be very vigilant as individuals here in this room, because civil rights are under attack and have been under attack and are going to continue to be, unfortunately, under attack. And that's why I'm glad our guest speaker, Mark Morial, the former mayor of New Orleans, which, by the way, his father was the mayor of New Orleans, too. So I don't know if many of you know that. So New Orleans has a habit of electing dads and then sons. His dad's predecessor was Moon Landrieu in the 70s, and then Mitch Landrieu was also mayor just more recently right there. So I am very fortunate, Mark, that you've been able to make it up here. I want to thank him for his friendship over the years. He was one of the first mayors that I met when I went down to D.C. involved in the United States Conference of Mayors.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know
So let me get to the matter at hand. This week was a week of contradictions and maybe hypocrisy. On Monday, we celebrated the 96th birthday of one of the great Americans of all time, Dr. Martin Luther King. On the very same day, the 47th President of the United States was inaugurated. And in his inaugural speech, he invoked the name of Martin Luther King. After invoking the name of Martin Luther King, he went over to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, sat behind the Resolute desk, and signed a series of executive orders which contradict the vision and the work of Martin Luther King in a profound way. No president, certainly since the 1950s or 60s, has ever been so callous and heinous in signing executive orders. Imagine this, in an effort to reverse the Constitution. Executive orders to unleash a reign of terror on our nation's immigrants. Executive orders to try to cancel, they call it DE&I, but what you're really trying to do is cancel the Civil Rights Act. Never before have we seen something so heinous. There's an old school component of me that believes that when you win an election, your fealty and loyalty is not simply to those that voted for you. You're transformed into, and this is how democracy works, a leader of all and every person. So we know politics, and we know people have to minister to and administer to their political basis. But we've never seen anything like this. The mayor and I were talking. Just this week, I've gotten several calls. The beginning of the assault on funding for senior citizens, for workforce development, for community development, for affordable housing will be a component part because it was written down in Project 2025. This was all plain as the eye could see. Some people may have thought the 47th president was just woofing and talking. He meant what he meant, and he meant what he did. So we are at this moment, compelled to think long and hard about what this means. And I would say to you, the way I look at it is this generation of Americans now has a burden thrust on it. And that burden is to ensure that the hard work of the generation of our parents and grandparents is not erased. Now think about the work of our parents and grandparents. On one hand, when Adolf Hitler threatened to emasculate Europe, take those of the Jewish faith, and in reigns of terror, round them up, put them on a train, and put them in a detention camp. The generation of our parents and grandparents, led by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, stood up, and at great sacrifice of money and lives, beat back the reign of Adolf Hitler and his partners at that time in Asia, Hirohito, who was trying to do the same thing on the Western Front. And then the generation of our parents and grandparents, inspired by Rosa Parks and Thurgood Marshall and the Earl Warren-led Supreme Court and Dr. King and many, many others, my predecessor, Whitney Young, engineered the most successful nonviolent revolution in world history. They erased segregation in the South. They created laws to make discrimination based on race, creed, color, religion, and national origin illegal in this country. And they engineered, under Johnson's war on poverty, massive investments in education and in workforce. And this nation is today, even with our ills, a better America. A better America. Many of us walked through doors opened by that generation. The opportunity to vote, the opportunity to sit side by side, the opportunity to collaborate and build community together. That revolution, that nonviolent revolution, that change is now on trial and under attack. On trial and under attack. Last evening, the 47th president froze, Mr. Mayor, all foreign aid to every country except Israel and Egypt. Now, I know over in Beijing, the president of China sees that and says, I'll step in. I'll step in. Other countries will say, we'll step in, and the United States soft power influence is eroded. Last night, the 47th president fired 12 independent inspector generals whose job it is to ferret out wrongdoing and corruption in agencies. I am certain that they're going to be replaced by Curly, Larry, and Moe. And Shemp, too. So we are faced with, I would suggest to you, a moment that is not political, but a moment that is moral. A moment that is about American history, about the protection of American democracy. I respect the power of the presidency, but the president cannot rule by decree. The president cannot overturn constitutional and statutory commitments that this country has made by decree. So I am confident that you are going to see a continuation of lawsuits filed to see if the judicial branch has the you-know-whats to stand up for the rule of law and the Constitution.
We're at 240 Old New Brunswick Road here in Piscataway at the grand opening of a small business with Mega Thakkar. Why don't you tell me a bit about your practice here?
Yes, my name is Mega Thakkar. I'm a divorce and family law attorney. I have several years of experience working at large law firms, and I've recently branched out to open my own law firm. I'm looking forward to serving the people of Piscataway and the surrounding areas in Middlesex County. And thank you, Mayor, for being here.
And I'm very fortunate to have our County Sheriff, Millie Scott, and also our County Freedom, Chanel McCollum, who's also part of the business development for the county. Commissioner, do you want to say something?
Absolutely. Just want to congratulate Megan on opening up her new business as part of the chair of the Economic Development Committee. We welcome small businesses to the county. So congratulations and welcome.
There you go, Sheriff. You want to say?
Mega, welcome to Piscataway with your small business. I wish you all the luck, Mega. May you be blessed, and may you also be cherished here.
Thank you.
And not only cherish here, may this Piscataway environment embrace you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, we know the trials and tribulations of being a small business owner. My wife's a small business owner, so we know it takes a lot of effort here. It's really a team effort, both the family. Just because the family might not be working business doesn't mean they're affected and working for you. So with that, and I'll turn it back over to the studio. I want to thank everybody for watching the February Eye on Piscataway, and we look forward to seeing you in March, and maybe we might have a singer, Irish singer on for the March show.